Hello guys and gals, and this is part 32 of our reading of the Harvard Classics. And the Harvard Classics are composed of The Apology, Phaedo, and Credo of Plato, translated by Benjamin Jowett, The Golden Sayings of Epictetus, translated by Hastings Crossley, and The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, translated by George Long, and edited by Charles W. Elliott, LLD, with introduction and notes. Let's go over the copyright information real quick, because that's most important. It says here, it is copyright 1980, 1937, and 1907 by Grolier Enterprises Corporation, manufactured in the United States. Now, let me just check my notes here. Okay. Just had to see which meditation we left off on. And so here we go. We left off on number 15, or I think that's the one I need to do now. We'll probably read 14 just to be safe. No, 5, sorry. We were on number 5. Okay, I see. Here we go. We'll start with number 4. Consider that men will do the same things, nevertheless, even though thou shouldst burst. Okay. Number 5. This is the chief thing. Be not perturbed, for all things are according to the nature of the universal. And in a little time thou wilt be nobody and nowhere, like Hadrianus and Augustus. In the next place, having fixed thy eyes steadily on thy business, look at it, and at the same time remembering that it is thy duty to be a good man, and what man's nature demands, do that without turning aside, and speak as it seems to thee most just. Only let it be with a good disposition, and with modesty, and without hypocrisy. Number 6. The nature of the universal has this work to do, to remove to that place the things which are in this, to change them, to take them away hence, and to carry them there. All things are changed, yet we need not fear anything new. All things are familiar to us, but the distribution of them still remains the same. Number 7. Every nature is contented. Sorry, let me see here. Every nature is contented with itself when it goes on its way well. And a rational nature goes on its way well, when in its thoughts it assents to nothing false or uncertain. Sorry, I keep getting bombarded by ads on my other phone. Anyways, sorry. With itself. Okay, here, I see. We're going to start again. Sorry about that. Every nature is contented with itself when it goes on its way well, and a rational nature goes on its way well when in its thoughts it assents to nothing false or uncertain, and when it directs its movements to social acts only, and when it confines to its desires and aversions to the things which are in its power, and when it is satisfied with everything that is assigned to it by the common nature. For of this common nature every particular nature is a part, as the nature of the leaf is a part of the nature of the plant, except that in the plant the nature of the leaf is part of a nature which has not perception or reason, and is subject to be impeded. But the nature of man is part of a nature which is not subject to impediments, and is intelligent and just, since it gives everything in equal portions and according to its worth, times, substance, cause, form, activity, and incident. But examine not to discover that any one thing compared with any other single thing is equal in all respects, but by taking all the parts together and one thing, and comparing them with all the parts together of another. Number 8. Thou hast not leisure or ability to read, but thou hast leisure or ability to check arrogance. Thou hast leisure to be superior to pleasure and pain. Thou hast leisure to be superior to love of fame, and not to be vexed at stupid and ungrateful people, nay, even to care for them. Number 9. Let no man any longer bear the finding fault with the court, life, or with your own. Number 10. Repentance is a kind of self-reproof for having neglected something useful. But that which is good must be something useful, and the perfect good man should look after it. But no such man would ever repent of having refused any sensual pleasure. Pleasure, then, is neither good nor useful. Number 11. This thing, what is it in itself, in its own constitution? What is its substance and material, and what its casual nature or form, and what is it doing in the world, and how long does it subsist? Number 12. When thou risest from sleep with reluctance, remember that it is according to thy constitution and according to human nature to perform social acts. But sleeping is common also to irrational animals. But that which is according to each individual's nature is also more peculiarly its own, and more suitable to its nature, and indeed also more agreeable. Number 13. Constantly, and if it be possible, on the occasion of every impression on the soul, apply it to the principle of physic, of ethic, and of dialectic. Number 14. Whatever man thou meetest with immediately say to thyself, what opinion has this man about good and bad? For if with respect to pleasure and pain, and the cause of each, and with respect to fame and ignominy, death and life, he has such and such an opinion. He has such and such opinions. It will seem nothing wonderful to strange to me, if he does such and such a thing. And I shall bear in mind that he is compelled to do so. Number 15. Remember that it is a shame to be surprised if the fig tree produces figs, so it is to be surprised if the world produces such and such things of which it is productive. And for the physician and the helmsman, it is a shame to be surprised if a man has a fever, or if the wind if unfavorable. I think that should be is unfavorable. I'm not sure. Number 16. Remember that to change thy opinion and to follow him who corrects thy error is as consistent with freedom as it is to persist in thy error. For it is thy own the activity which is exerted according to thy own movement and judgment, and indeed according to thy own understanding too. Number 17. If a thing is in thy own power, why dost thou do it? But if it is in the power of another, whom dost thou blame? The atoms, chance, or the gods? Both are foolish. Thou must blame nobody. For if thou canst correct that which is the cause, but if thou canst not do this, correct at least the thing itself. But if thou canst not do even this, of what use is it to thee to find fault? For nothing should be done without a purpose. Number 18. That which has died falls not out of the universe. If it stays here, it also changes here, and it dissolves into its proper parts, which are elements of the universe and of thyself. And thee too change, and they murmur not. Number 19, everything exists for the same end. A horse, a vine. Why dost thou wonder? Why dost thou wonder? Even the sun will say, I am for some purpose, and the rest of the gods will say the same. For what purpose then art thou? To enjoy pleasure? See if common sense allows this. Number 20. Nature has had regard in everything no less to the end than to the beginning and the continuance, just like the man who throws up a ball. What good is it then for the ball to be thrown up, or harm for it to come down, or even to have fallen? And what good is it to the bubble when it holds together, or what harm when it is burst? The same may be said of a light also. Number 21. Turn it, the body, inside out, and see what kind of things it is. And when it has grown old, what kind of thing it becomes, and when it is diseased. Short-lived are both the praiser and the praised, and the rememberer and the remembered, and all this is a nook of this part of the world. And not even here do all agree, no, not any one with himself, and the whole earth too is a point. Number 22. Attend to the matter which is before thee, whether it is an opinion or an act or a word. Thou sufferest this justly, for thou choosest rather to become good tomorrow than to be good today. Number 23. Am I doing anything? I do it with reference to the good of mankind. Does anything happen to me? I receive it and refer it to the gods, and the source of all things from which all that happens is derived. Number 24. Such as bathing appears to thee, oil, sweat, dirt, filthy water, all things disgusting. So is every part of life and everything. Okay. Number 25. Lucilla saw Venus die, and then Lucilla died. Secunda saw Maximus die, and then Secunda died. Epicurus saw Diotimus die, and then Epinacostus died. Antonius saw Faustina die, and then Antonius died. Such is everything. Celar saw Hadrianus die, and then Celar died. And those sharp-witted men, either seers or men, inflated with pride, where are they? For instance, the sharp-witted men, Charax and Demetrius, the Platonist, and Eudaemon, and anyone else like them, all ephemeral, dead long ago. Some indeed have not been remembered even for a short time, while others have been the heroes of fables, and again others have disappeared even from fables. Remember this, then, that this little compound, thyself must either be dissolved, or thy poor breath must be extinguished to be removed and placed elsewhere. Number 26. It is satisfaction to a man to do the proper work of a man. Let's see. Now it is a proper work of a man to be benevolent in his own kind, to despise the movements of the senses, to form a just judgment of plausible appearances, and to take a survey of the nature of the universe and of the things which happen in it. Check real quick. 14 minutes, okay. Number 27. There are three relations between three and other things. The one to the body which surrounds thee, the second to the divine cause, from which all things come to all, and the third to those who live with thee. Number 28. Pain is either an evil to the body, then let the body say what it thinks of it, or to the soul, but it is the power of the soul to maintain its own serenity and tranquility, and not to think that pain is an evil. For every judgment and movement and desire and aversion is within, and no evil ascends so high. Number 29. Wipe out thy imaginations by often saying to thyself, now it is in my power to let no badness be in this soul, nor desire, nor any perturbations at all. But looking at all things, I see what is their nature, and I use each according to its value. Remember this power when thou hast which thou hast from nature. Number 30. Speak both in the Senate and to every man, whoever he may be, appropriately, not with any affection. Use plain discourse. Number 31. Augustus's court, wife, daughter, descendants, ancestors, sister, Agrippa, kinsmen, intimates, friends, Arius, Maecenas, physicians, and sacrificing priests, the whole court is dead. Then turn to the rest, not considering the death of a single man, but of a whole race, as of the Pompey, and that which is inscribed on the tombs, the last of his race. Then consider what trouble those before them have had, that they might leave a successor, and then that of the necessity someone must be the last. Again here consider the death of a whole race. Number 32. It is thy duty to order thy life well in every single act, and if every act does its duty as far as is possible by content, and no one is able to hinder thee, so that each act shall not do its duty, but something external will stand in thy way. Nothing will stand in the way of thy acting justly and soberly and considerately, but perhaps some other active power will be hindered. But out of acquiescing to the hindrance, and by being content to transfer thy efforts to that which is allowed, another opportunity of action is immediately put before thee, in place of that which was hindered, and one which will adapt itself to this ordering of which we are speaking. Number 33. Receive wealth or prosperity without arrogance, and be ready to let it go. Number 34. If thou didst ever see a hand cut off, or a foot or a head lying anywhere apart from the rest of the body, such does a man make himself, as far as he can, who is not content with what happens and separates himself from others, or does anything unsocial. Suppose that thou hast detached thyself from the natural unity, for thou wast made by nature apart. But now thou hast cut thyself off, yet here there is this beautiful provision, that it is in thy power again to unite thyself. God has allowed this to no other part, after it has been separated and cut asunder, to come together again. But consider the kindness by which he has distinguished man, for he has put in his power not to be separated at all from the universal, and when he has been separated, he has allowed him to return and to be united, and to resume his place as a part. Number 35, just checking here. Number 35, as the nature of the universal has given to every rational being all the other powers that it has, so we have received from it this power also. For as the universal nature converts and fixes in its predestined place everything which stands in the way and opposes it, and makes such things a part of itself, so also the rational animal is able to make every hindrance its own material and to use it for such purpose as it may have designed. Number 36. Do not disturb thyself by thinking of the whole of thy life. Let not thy thoughts at once embrace all the various troubles which thou mayest expect to befall thee, but on every occasion ask thyself, what is there in this which is intolerable and past bearing? For thou wilt be ashamed to confess. In the next place, remember that neither the future nor the past pains thee, but only the present. But this is reduced to a very little, if thou only circumscribest it and chidest thy mind, if it is unable to hold out against even this. Number 37. Does Panthea or Pergamus now sit by the tomb of Varus? Does Carius or Dodamus sit by the tomb of Hadrianus? That would be ridiculous. Well, suppose they did sit there. Would the dead be conscious of it? And if the dead were conscious, would they be pleased? And if they were pleased, would that make them immortal? Was it not the order of destiny that these persons too should first become old women and old men and then die? What then would those do after these were dead? After this is foul smell and blood in a all this is foul smell and blood in a bag. Number 38. If thou canst see sharp, look and judge wisely, says the philosopher. Number 39. In the constitution of the rational animal, I see no virtue which is opposed to justice, but I see a virtue which is opposed to love of pleasure, and that is temperance. Number 40. Okay. If thou takest away thy opinion about that which appears to give thee pain, thou thyself standest in perfect security. Who is this self? The reason? The reason. But I am not reason. Be it so. Let then the reason itself not trouble itself. But if any other part of thee suffers, let it have its own opinion about itself. Number 41. Hindrance and perceptions of sense is an evil to the animal nature. Hindrance to the movement's desires is equally an evil to the animal nature. And something else also is equally an impediment, evil to the constitution of plants. So then, that which is a hindrance to the intelligence is an evil to the intelligent nature. Apply all these things then to thyself. Does pain or sensuous pleasure affect thee? The senses will look to that. Has any obstacle opposed thee in thy effort towards an object? If indeed thou wast making this effort absolutely, unconditionally, or without any reservation, certainly this obstacle is an evil to thee considered as a rational animal. But if thou takest into consideration the usual course of things, thou hast not yet been injured nor even impeded. The things, however, which are proper to the understanding of understanding no other man is used to impede. So neither fire nor iron nor tyrant nor abuse touches it in any way. When it has been made a sphere, it continues a sphere. Number 42. It is not fit that I should give myself pain, for I have never intentionally given pain even to another. Number 43. Different things delight different people, but it is my delight to keep the ruling faculty sound without turning away either from any man or from any of the things which happen to men, but looking at the receiving all with welcome eyes and using everything according to its value. Number 44. See that thou secure thy present time to thyself, for those who rather pursue posthumous fame do not consider that the men of after time will be exactly such as this whom they cannot bear now, and both are mortal. And what is it in any way to thee if these men of after time utter this or that sound, or have this or that opinion about thee? And we are going to stop this right here. Let's see, 45. I'm trying to write that down. And we've been reading from the Harvard Classics, and specifically the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. So, we have, yeah, this has been fun. Anyways, if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when I upload. Also, want to support me in any way, if you want to join the Discord server, all information will be in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.